Welcome back to Off Topic. I'm going to do a quick NBA 2021 mock draft. I'm using fanspo.com. This is just probably the best website to do mock drafts on for the NBA. And I see that they added NFL feature too. So this this is what I used last year during the mock draft before I had the YouTube channel as well. So I'll do a full draft, really just go through the first round, then just show you the second round. Don't know too much about the later in the second round, but I'll go through it using the regular NBA order that we'll see tonight. I'm going to use the ESPN official list. And let's get started. Number one pick. It's obviously going to be Cade Cunningham. I think it should be Cade Cunningham. I think it was Cade Cunningham from the start of this process. He's the best player available. I see that the Pistons have had some interest in Jalen Green, maybe seeing that he would be a better fit with their last year's first-round pick, Killian Hayes. So, but I think just Cade Cunningham is too good of a player to pass up on, and I think that he could play with Killian Hayes. I think they'll figure out a way to play them together. Kind of a combo guard lineup. I think Killian Hayes and Cade Cunningham are both kind of have a skill set that they could play either guard position. And if it doesn't work out with both of them, I think Cade Cunningham will end up being the better player. So I think you have to go with Cade Cunningham. This Rockets at number 2. I think they're taking Jalen Green. I think that's who they've been targeting. Some question the fit with their other young player in Kevin Porter Jr., who's also kind of a shooting guard who wants the ball in his hands. But towards the end of the year, when John Wall was hurt, Kevin Porter Jr. is playing point guard. So I think that this fit can end up working out, and they'll figure out a way to play both of them. Because I think John Wall will be gone soon. I'm not sure how much longer he'll be there. So we're gonna go Jalen Green at 2. 3, the Cavs are up. I think they're taking Evan Mobley. Questioning the fit with Jared Allen. They're both kind of centers, but I could really see Evan Mobley really being a power forward. In the NBA, he doesn't really have a back to the basket or a post move like traditional centers, which the game is going away from. But I think Evan Mobley will be more of a power forward in the NBA. And he in an interview, he compared himself to Giannis and Kevin Durant, who are both basically playing power forward at this point. So I think he'll be able to fit with Jared Allen. Or maybe the Cavs don't bring back Jared Allen and Evan Mobley is the starting center. Raptors, I don't think Kyle Lowry will be back. I think they got to take Jalen Suggs. I think he should fit with Fred VanVleet, just like Kyle Lowry did. I think Jalen Suggs is a more than plus defender. I think he'll be guarding your best. He'll be guarding the other team's best guard in the draft. Not in the draft. In each game, I think that gives VanVleet a little bit more room to just be that shooting guard type role that he's taken over. So they're definitely going with Jalen Suggs. Right here, Magic. I think they're going to go with Scotty Barnes. I think they should probably go with Jonathan Kuminga. I think he'd fit a little bit better with their other franchise player, Jonathan Isaac. Because Jonathan Isaac's more focused on defense, he might get you 9 to 10 points a game. Kuminga is more of an offensive scorer. I think Scotty Barnes actually compares to Jonathan Isaac, might sort of have a clog on offense at the forward spot, but they seem to be really interested in Scotty Barnes. Seeming that he went to the same college as Jonathan Isaac, they kind of play a similar role. But if they have Scotty Barnes, your forward is being locked up by either Jonathan Isaac or Scotty Barnes, two great perimeter and inside defenders. Oklahoma City Thunder, they can afford to take a project player. That's why I think they're taking Kuminga, who might need a little bit more time to develop into a better NBA player. I think he'll be a solid NBA player. He has the biggest boom or bust potential, I think, in the top 6 group that's kind of solidified. Warriors, I think they're going to take Davion Mitchell. A struggle for them was kind of backup point guard play this year. I think Davion Mitchell brings that from what we saw in the NCAA tournament. I think he plays great defense. You could maybe, if you're closing game lineup, you could have Curry at the 1. I think you could have Mitchell at the 2. If the other team has a good opposing guard, to put Davion Mitchell on him, as he's a plus defender, more than plus defender. He's a great perimeter defender. Put Clay at the 3, maybe Wiggins at the 4, Draymond at the 5 if you don't trust Wiseman. I don't know. But I think Davion Mitchell would help a team that doesn't have a lot of needs and doesn't want to take a project player because they want to be a contender next year. Orlando Magic, they have a lot of point guard play, as they have Markelle Fultz, Cole Anthony, RJ Hampton, who's kind of point guard, shooting guard, but all really young guys at the point guard position. So I don't think that they're going to take a point guard. They already have Scotty Barnes that they took. I think they'll take. So they seem to have power forward locked up with Jonathan Isaac. Scotty Barnes can kind of play power forward, that small forward position. I think they need a little bit of depth there. Center rotations good with Mo Bamba and Wendell Carter Jr. How was I forget his name? I think they're going to take a little bit of depth at the forward position, just like they did earlier. It's where they kind of need a little help. I think they'll go with Franz Wagner. Kings, they should not be making a selection here. Historically, they're not a good drafting team. Obviously, they took De'Aaron Fox and Tyrese Halliburton the past couple of years, 2 great picks. But otherwise, I don't think they should just find a way to trade Buddy Hield and this pick for something before the draft. But if they do get on the draft board, I think that they can afford to take. I don't know if they want a project player, but I feel like that might be best for them. But if they want like a guy that can help them day one, I think they'll go with Corey Kispert, because he can help them day one. He's ready. He's a senior. And maybe kind of that replacement for Harrison Barnes. I don't know how long Harrison Barnes is going to be left in a Kings uniform. Grizzlies, they traded up to this pick at 10. They seem to be eyeing Josh Giddey. I'm not sure how well of a fit Josh Giddey would be with their franchise player, John Morant. I think Josh Giddey's going to be a great NBA player. He's on my watch out list. He's on like one of my sleeper picks. I think he's going to be a great NBA player. I think his game's going to translate the best, but I just think he would clash a little bit with their franchise player, John Morant. So I think that they're going to take the second best player available in Moses Moody. Right here, Charlotte Hornets, same thing with them, with LaMelo Ball. I think that they kind of want just a backcourt partner who I'm going to have him take James Bouknight, a good shooting guard. I kind of compare him to Lou Williams. I think he's just going to be kind of like, give it to him, he's going to get a bucket. I think he'll be a little bit more of a defender than Lou Williams is at the shooting guard position. I think he'll be a great fit next to LaMelo Ball, where LaMelo can keep the ball in his hands when he wants to, but he'll also have somebody to dish it out to on the perimeter, James Bouknight. San Antonio Spurs, they need big man play. Power forward position was kind of DeMar DeRozan / Keldon Johnson, which it worked out okay. Not the biggest fan of. I think Keldon and DeMar are both kind of threes. Center position is Jakob Poeltl, who I like. I like him a lot. I'm not sure if he can be a starting center on the most competitive team in the league. So I think they're going to go with Texas big man Kai Jones. Keep him in the state of Texas. I think he'll be a great player for them to maybe start power forward or maybe eventually start at center for them. Pacers are up. I think that they have Malcolm Brogdon at the point guard, but they seem to be shopping him. I'm not sure how much they really want to go into a rebuild. But I'm not sure how really ready they are to compete. They seem to want to move Sabonis to the 5, trade Miles Turner, move Warren down to the 4. Not sure how great that's going to work. At least Warren at the 4. I think they could eye Jalen Johnson, Keon Johnson, or Josh Giddey. It's going to be one of them, I think. I'm not totally sure which one, but if they're willing to trade Malcolm Brogdon, I think they want to compete one more year, so I think they're going to go with Keon Johnson before going into a rebuild. I think Josh Giddey might take a little bit of time. Not totally sure. The Warriors, I could so see them taking Josh Giddey here, but they did take a point guard earlier, and they have Stephen Clay at the guard position, so it really wouldn't work. I think they should trade this pick. I don't think they really should take any other picks. They should be trying to make a move for someone. But they don't want to take a project player. They want to take someone that's ready day one. I'm looking through to see who they want to take. I think they'll take one of the big men, Alperen Sengun or Usman Garuba. Seeing that Kevon Looney's a fine backup center, but to see if one of these guys could develop into a better backup center, I think they'll go with Usman Garuba, who can also kind of play the 4 for them if they ever wanted to move on from Draymond Green. You know, they want to compete, but they also want to plan for the future a little bit at the same time. The Wizards, did I let Josh Giddey fall to my Wizards because I really want him to fall to my Wizards? Maybe, but they're taking Josh Giddey. Their GM Shepard has come out and said that they want to take the best player available regardless of the fit. Josh Giddey might be questionable with Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal, but if one of those guys ever leaves, I think Josh Giddey will be a great player. I think that this will solidify the Wizards' young core and will make them top tier. In terms of like having the best young core, and Denny, Rui, and Josh Giddey, I think Josh Giddey's going to be such a good player in the NBA. Maybe a little biased letting him fall to the Wizards. Thunder basically need everything. Almost wanted to trade away their star player just for some picks. I think they'll take Jalen Johnson. He's kind of a project. Obviously, he had a difficult time in college, but I think they'll take Jalen Johnson. Pelicans are up. They need a stretch 5, which they got in Jonas Valanciunas and the Steven Adams trade. So they seem to have that locked up. The guard position they've taken back-to-back years. I don't see them taking that again unless they see someone that they really like. But I think they're going to take Zaire Williams. I think he can kind of play the 3 next to Zion if someday ever happens to Brandon Ingram. You know, he can kind of come off the bench, maybe even play the 2. I think he can stretch the floor for the Pelicans well so they can get space around Zion to let Zion work in the paint. Obviously, they're a franchise player. Thunder back up. They have a million picks. Right here, I think they'll take Alperen Sengun out of Turkey. They just need kind of big man play, especially after trading away Al Horford and Moses Brown. Their old center and their young center. So I think they'll go with a center pick. Knicks, they seem I hear that they've been eyeing Chris Duarte, kind of played the 1 and the 2 position. I'm out there with Quickly or Derrick Rose and RJ Barrett. So I think they'll go with Chris Duarte. I'm going to stop elaborating as much on my picks right now just to keep this moving. Atlanta Hawks, they're going to take Jared Butler. I think that obviously he's another point guard who kind of played shooting guard next to Davion Mitchell, but they kind of both were they kind of will rotate who's the off guard. I think Trae Young can be a great off guard if he needs to be, and I think Jared Butler will bring great defense in that backcourt that they severely need. Also, I don't think that the Hawks should have a pick here. They have too many young guys. I think that they are good on development. But if the pick is here, I think they take Jared Butler. New York Knicks, obviously they just took Chris Duarte. I think that they could look to maybe a new center behind Mitchell Robinson's contract's over, as we can see right here. Maybe they put him in a package for a big trade, as he's a good young asset. I think they'll take Isaiah Jackson out of Kentucky. Lakers are up. They can really take anything. I think they'll take Cam Thomas, the LSU freshman. Can kind of play the 1 or the 2. Could go be out there with LeBron and let LeBron handle it, but could also take over the show at times if he needs to. Be the backup point guard even. Rockets are back up. They have the guard position kind of forward. They have Jae'Sean Tate. Jae'Sean Tate and Kenyon Martin Jr., who I think are both pretty good players. I think they could go to look at a center or a power forward to kind of play with Christian Wood. But I also think it's kind of a reach for any center that's on the board. They could just try to really shore up that you could just go to shore up that guard position and take Sharife Cooper. Then you maybe run Sharife Cooper, Kevin Porter Jr., Jalen Green at the 3. I think that could also work out. Or Sharife Cooper's just their backup point guard, which I think could really help them. They're up again. Right now, I think with the back-to-back picks, they can be okay to reach on a center. So I think they'll go with Aaron Sharp out of UNC. Clippers are up. They need point guard play. They got it a little bit with Rondo, Reggie Jackson at the end, Patrick Beverly, but it's all kind of a mix. I think they need a solidified ball handler, and I think that can be Trey Mann. I think he can be a really good NBA player. 27th pick. This is the Denver Nuggets. I think they need kind of a better backcourt partner with Jamal Murray. Obviously, at the end of the year, he was hurt, had torn ACL, but then they were playing Will Barton next to him. Will Barton's a good player. I don't know if he's the best starting shooting guard. I think they're going to take Josh Christopher here, play the shooting guard for them. Brooklyn Nets need nothing. They should just trade this for whatever they can get. But if they are going to take anyone, I think they'll take a reach on Charles Bassey, center out of Western Kentucky. I heard good things about him. Kind of a project player, but they don't really need anything on that team. So maybe they do look to plan into the future a little bit. Sorry if you know the background noise. There's construction going on in my house. But I'm going to stop at the end of the first round and just fast forward to when I have all the second round done and go through that really quickly. 76ers are up. They seem to want to trade Ben Simmons, so maybe they take a replacement for him. And Jaden Springer can kind of be a better 1, or if they want to put Ben Simmons in the 3 or the 4, they can put Jaden Springer out there. Obviously, they have a lot of point guard depth, but I think that they kind of just want to take good young assets if it does come to a Ben Simmons trade. Also add on top of that, as they seem to be losing Maxey or Milton in a trade if they were trading for a Damian Lillard or a Bradley Beal in the Ben Simmons trade. Here's second to last pick. The Suns obviously just went to the finals. I think they just take best player available, try to get their back again, Trey Murphy. And finally, the Jazz are up with the 30th pick. I hear they don't really need anything. They could maybe look to move on from Bojan Bogdanovic and Joe Ingles. I've heard, but I think they'll go with a backup point guard as Jordan Clarkson's kind of more of a shooting guard, and they didn't really have that this year. So, and Ayo DeSumo. Now it's the second round. I'll just talk to you guys at the end with kind of how I took the picks. As as we can see here with the second round, I don't know too much about the second round. I just kind of started going through it. Best player available and kind of need a few picks I'll highlight. You can pause to see it. Luka Garza, people don't think he's going to be a great NBA player, but as good as he was in college, I think somebody will take a chance on him. Like the Pelicans, he can be a stretch five for them, kind of off the bench to go with Zion. He shot the three ball well. Jason Preston, at a good tournament, can kind of be a combo guard. I would like to see him next to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Kind of let Shai run point when he wants to, but also run the point when Shai's at the two. Joel Ayayi out of Gonzaga. I like him as kind of like an off the bench type guard role. Guard, maybe a little bit of small forward in a small ball lineup. I have the Pistons taking him. Just kind of shore up that guard rotation after taking Cade number one. Joe Wieskamp for the Bulls. This is the Bulls' only pick. I think Joe Wieskamp, he was a good player at Iowa, just like that. I think that was just best player available with not like the best point guard on the board at the time. They just can't afford to like reach for one in the second round as much as the Bulls want a point guard. Greg Brown, I think he can be a good NBA player, kind of that replacement if Wendell Carter Jr. ever leaves the Kings. Aaron Wiggins, good shooter, kind of a personal pick. Hoping he goes a little bit higher in the draft. Should maybe had him go a little higher. Isaiah Livers, I don't know. I think he's just a good player and could kind of develop well on the Nets. Dawson Nix, I think he can be a good player, develop on the Nets. Like I said again. Aaron Henry, just more shooting for the Pistons. Like I said, I don't know enough of much in the second round. But that's all for my 2021 NBA mock draft. Thanks for watching.